Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Arguably Correct. I'm your host, Lindsay, and we have some best of Redditor updates today. So let's get right into it. Okay, we have a new update. This post was originally posted in 2023, and there's a new update. Okay, to avoid confusion, in the UK and some other places outside of North America, Mother's Day is celebrated in March and not May. So it's safe to assume that this takes place in the UK. My husband, 38 male, screamed at me, 41 female, over Mother's Day. Yuck. I got up this morning around 8 with my husband, and there was no mention of it being Mother's Day. What a shame. Truly. That's fine. No, it's not. We carried on our morning exactly the same way as any other weekend morning. I did the washing, made breakfast, and put a roast in the oven. Yeah, this is why there should have been mention of a Mother's Day. I mean, I don't know. You're not his mother, but you must be a mother. My husband spent some of his morning looking for a car for our son, who is 17. His broke down a few days ago and isn't worth repairing. At around 1 p.m., I decided to go and dye my eyebrows. But as I was getting my stuff ready, my husband tells me I should go back downstairs and help our son get some quotes for his insurance. His policy is a multi-car policy on my insurance, so I would need to do it for him. I explained that I was busy, but my husband shouted at me that I need to go downstairs and help our son. I was so upset at this point that nobody had even mentioned Mother's Day. Like, yeah, I'm so sorry. At 1 p.m., no one mentions Mother's Day, and you ask one thing from me? Find the nearest Holiday Inn. Please. I was so upset at this point that nobody had even mentioned Mother's Day that I called them both for being so inconsiderate. At that point, my husband went mental with me and screamed that I'm not his mother. So why would he do anything for me? He told me I was weird for even suggesting it and that I was a weirdo for being annoyed that he wished his own mom a happy Mother's Day. He did, in fact, put a post on his Facebook page telling her she's the best for everything she does for him. That did irk me because since we've been together, it's me that does everything for him. I wasn't annoyed he wished her a happy Mother's Day. It sounds stupid, but I was upset that he tagged her. Whenever he puts a post about us, he never tags me. He just calls me the wife. I couldn't hate this entire post anymore, if you couldn't tell. I just feel that at every opportunity, his mom gets better treatment than me. No, I just think you don't get considered or treated well at all. I don't even think this is a comparison thing. Anyway, he then shouted that my son is old enough to do something for me without him being involved. And I totally agree with this. I'm upset with him too. Yeah, I was going to mention that. And to stop making everything about me. I was so shocked to hear this that I said I wouldn't bother about his birthday tomorrow then. Oh, and his birthday is the day after? Sir, get I was gonna say respectfully. No, there's disrespectfully. Like, what? He screamed that was fine. He wasn't expecting anything anyway because I have nothing to give him. A divorce is what you should give him. I've never felt so hurt and unappreciated with his comments. So did I do something wrong here? I never expected a gift or anything of any value, but it would have made me feel appreciated if there had been some effort, even just a kiss, to say I'm a good mom. I intend to show him this post because he doesn't believe husbands should appreciate their partners on Mother's Day. So I'd like to hear others' views. Thanks. Update. In my original post, I talked about our son who is 17. After my husband had read your comments, he wanted me to let you know that he is not my son's dad and just the stepdad. He is just making this worse and worse for himself. My husband has been in his life since he was 10 and has always treated him like a son and has been there through many huge milestones. I didn't feel the need to put that he was the stepdad because I don't see him like that, and I didn't realize that's how he's seen our son. He tells everyone he's ours. Apparently, it will make a difference to your opinions. I really apologize if I misled anyone. It wasn't my intention. I just really see him as his dad. Like I've said in my comments below, he has done stuff for Mother's Day previously. This just feels like a final kick in the teeth. Okay, I have like a million things to say. Number one, this got really sad when you disclosed this is his stepson, because it seems that you were really of the belief that he treated his stepson like it was his son. And now you're realizing he might not feel that way. And that's, I don't know. I don't have children, but all I know is like on Mother's Day, my fiance will say like Happy Mother's Day because we have a rabbit together. Let me say that again. We have a rabbit together, and my fiance thinks the best mother in the world to our son, Rabbit. So, is there another update where she left him? Because that's the update we all need. Let me scroll. There's more updates. I don't even want to read the comments because we know what the comments are going to say. We don't need to add negativity here. It looks like there's a new update. Firstly, thank you all so much for the kind words, advice, and love you sent me on Sunday. I was overwhelmed with the response I received, so I couldn't reply to all comments. I thought you all deserved an update around what happened afterwards. Yes, we do. Unfortunately, things got a bit worse on Sunday evening with some pretty nasty stuff thrown my way. My husband told me the reason he was so resentful towards me was because he helped me financially for a few months after several things happened at once. We moved houses, I changed jobs, which meant a change in pay, and also a few weeks without a salary, which he knew about, it was planned, and he told me he'd cover. Then my car had a major breakdown, which he paid to have fixed. This is the first time that he's helped me financially. We've always split everything 50-50. Basically, he's annoyed that he lost money that he'll never get back. In our early days, I helped him when he didn't have much. I helped him set up his business, which is doing really well now, and I look after all of his accounts, wages, invoices, VAT returns, etc. without a wage. That's where you f up. You need a salary, ma'am. You are an employee of your husband's business, and you deserve to be compensated as such. What? So him telling me he resented me for helping me really hurt because I'm his wife, and I've lost count of how many hours I've also put into his business. Oh my, I want to change my subjects tonight because this is bringing me down. This is so sad. When we talked about it yesterday, I told him his behavior towards me is unacceptable and I won't tolerate it anymore. I told him he can't resent me for helping me. It's his bloody job, just like it's mine to help him when I can. I told him he needs to get some professional help because his behavior isn't acceptable. I've wondered for a long time if there's some undiagnosed condition. He agreed that he knows he needs some help and acknowledged he knows what he's done and said is wrong. So I've given him 1 week to find someone and book an appointment. If he does this, I'll support him to work through his past. He was emotionally abused by his stepdad, and hopefully we'll have a stronger marriage, or he'll conveniently forget about what he's promised and continue being horrible to me. If he chooses this option, what he won't realize is that I won't argue with him about it or cry. I'll simply be making a plan to leave. Yes. I'll give him a chance because I love him, but I won't waste my life on someone who doesn't want or respect me. Yeah, girl. Thank God you had some sense. As for his mother, her response to our fight was that it's my behavior that's a problem and he should go and stay with her. The relationship for me now is dead. I'll be polite, but that's it. Thanks again for all your support. It's really made me realize I have options. Okay, Reddit. Oh, wait. Okay, let me get my thoughts off first. Just a little bit here, because we have a new update. But number one, I want to say good on her, because she's not falling for his bullshit. Number two, he helped you financially. You guys moved houses. Number one, she says we moved houses. That's something you guys do as a relationship. That is not something that you would solely or should solely have been responsible for anyway. And if he's a man and a providing man, he should want to provide these things for you. I'm sorry. I mean, there's one thing to be capable of providing for yourself, which I wholeheartedly believe in, obviously, as a smart woman of, today's world in 2026. You need to be a smart woman and provide for yourself financially and be stable on your own financially. But if you have your significant other, it's well within their, like, men typically want to provide for their families, their women. That's a makeup thing. It's innate. The fact that this guy is so resentful towards you because he helped you for a few months after you were down bad. You had happen to you. You needed help. That's what a partner is literally for. That's actually what he was serving his purpose. Part of his purpose. I'm not saying his whole purpose is to help you when you're down, but that's essentially what a partner is. It's not 50-50. It's never 50-50. Some days it's 70-30. Some days it's 60-40. Some days it's 10-90. Some days somebody cannot get one thing together and the other person needs to just say, hey, I love this person. I'm going to put in this entire 90%. Even if it's the last 90% that I have to give, this is what I need to do because they need that. And that's my partner and that's who matters to me and what I care about. May this type of love, I mean, it won't ever find me. I'm taken. But we've all, I mean, I'm 30 years old. As a woman, we've all experienced some really relationship like this, right? Right. Okay. So what you need to do is leave that relationship immediately and leave it in the dust. Leave it in the rear view because this type of shit only gets worse. And we do have a new update. So let me get into it because I want to know. After I just said it only gets worse, maybe it got better. I hope so for her sake or something. I don't know. Let's say. New update. Am I the because I think it's unfair now. Okay, so in the original post, she was 41, he was 38. Now this update, she's 44, he's 41. So 3 years. 3-year update. Am I the because I think it's unfair. My female 44 husband, male 41, wants to use his only week off in a year to go on holiday with his friend and not me. Wait, this is crazy because I read this post in another subreddit. This was posted in another subreddit. Reddit, I need your honest opinion on this one. My husband and I have been together 10 years, married 7. And what's crazy, I'm going to just keep interrupting. I'm so sorry. What's crazy is the subreddit that I read this in originally, I don't know, when I was perusing, everybody in the comments was killing killing this woman, saying, you don't trust him. He should be able to go on a vacation. Now, reading the original post and having that context, okay, I bet they all wish they knew that. Let me keep going. My husband and I have been together for 10 years, married 7, and have a pretty normal relationship. Nothing major has ever happened. We both work. It's the way she also wrote this too, now that I'm thinking back, and you'll see. We both work, have decent salaries, which are similar, so we don't really struggle. My husband has his own business, which on top of my own full-time job, I manage all his finances, invoices, accounts, etc. I don't get paid and I don't want to be paid either. It's our business. So it's in my best interest to do it well. I agree. If he would treat you better, I would agree more with this, but I don't know, girl. You got to be on payroll at this point cuz he don't think much of you as a wife, much less you're his under not paid, not even glorified. So you're nothing. Okay, I need to move on. We have 2 employees who were young/apprentices, so not able to work without my husband being with them. Sounds like a trade school kind of thing. Some type of trade. This is the issue. Because my husband is self-employed, he rarely takes time off for the holidays. He'll sometimes take days off through the week when the weather is poor, and he'll go off for the days on his electric MTB. I don't know what that is. I have no issues with this. Over the last 5 years, we've only been on holiday twice, which was last year for a week, and he's thinking about taking another week off this year in the summer. Here's where we don't agree. He's wanting to go off on his own to visit his friend in France with his bike. Maybe the MTV thing is a bike. And Any other situation, I wouldn't even comment on him going. My problem is he won't take any more holidays to go with me at a different time. I don't. Mm. So, in effect, we won't go on holiday together until 2027. I think this is unreasonable. And this update was posted December 21st, 2025. So she's saying, so in effect, we won't go on holiday together until 2027. I think this is unreasonable. I would always prioritize him and our son over my friends. I manage such a large part of his business, but in return, he doesn't even want to go on holiday with me, and I've even offered to pay. So am I the that I think he shouldn't be prioritizing his friend when he only takes one holiday off a year? Just to be clear, I've never said he can't go and never would. He's free to do as he pleases, but I wouldn't be happy about it. There's nothing stopping him from taking more time off. He could even go for a long weekend to France, but nope, he wants the week. Your husband doesn't like you. Your husband does not like you. That's the only conclusion that I can come up with in my brain. And maybe you're gonna say that's extreme, but no, it's not. I don't think it is. Edit. My husband knows about this post and has asked me to update the post with some info. That's also weird. His friend is his only friend, and he's moved to France, and he only sees him when he comes back to the UK, usually once a year. He says he has no other friends to do anything with, which is why he wants to go on holiday next year with his friend. The problem is not you going away with your friend. The problem is you not wanting to spend any time with your wife. You don't want to go on a vacation with your wife. And quite honestly, you're mean to her. You're just mean to her. You're mean. You're mean. Edit 2 update. First, let me thank everyone who has commented. I wanted to know if the problem was with me or him, and it definitely feels like it's with him. So I feel completely validated with how I feel. Secondly, it was becoming too difficult to respond to everyone, so I thought I'd give an update here, plus clear a few things up. We have booked to go on a vacation somewhere fancy in March for 5 days to go skiing, etc., and to visit his friend as that's where he lives. We got a rental car, so we can explore the area as well as my husband getting to hang out with his friend. I have no issue with chilling in our hotel room one evening while he goes out with his friend for food/drinks, and I don't mind doing a bit of skiing with his friend either. There will be plenty of time for us to have quality time. We've also booked our summer holiday to go to Greece for 10 days in a villa with a rental car. He read most of your comments and said he knew he was being a but he was just trying to get his point across that he doesn't see his friend that often because of where he lives. Apparently, he was hypothetically saying that if he only had time for one holiday, why couldn't he do what he wanted? We've talked about it and he knows how it made me feel. He apologized, and that's why we've booked a few holidays. Now, for all the other stuff. In my original post, I said he was a good husband. We didn't really fight. Nothing else major happened. This is true. I've seen a lot of comments saying he doesn't like me. That's what I said. He doesn't spend time with me. I'm his free labor and I do all the housework. None of this is true. Housework is split, although I probably do more out of choice as I like things in a particular way. I think that's probably common. He's very hands-on though, and will regularly load/unload the dishwasher, put the washing machine on, etc. Plus he does all of the garden work as he loves it, and I don't. We do spend time together. We often spend weekends hiking or go for days out. It was the holidays that stopped because of his business. In relation to me not being paid, I can't reiterate this enough. This is my choice. I'm already a higher taxpayer, so I don't want paid to lose even more in tax. That doesn't. I guess she's saying she doesn't want to pay more taxes, but the sentence is butchered. I do my husband's accounts, and without going into detail, there's a reason I don't take money. Like I said, I do get other benefits though. Finally, thank you all for commenting, as it was all your comments that made him realize on this occasion he was being part of a bit of a. But I think he knew this. He's not always though. Most of the time he's good to me, but people have days and sometimes say and do stuff they regret. I'm not a perfect wife either. I probably snap too much and want things a certain way. There is one thing I'm certain of though. I know he loves me and that we are each other's best friends. Listen, this is one Reddit post. She definitely wrote this when she was in the heat of the moment. She was pissed at him. So she painted a picture that was a little bit more negative than probably the average day to day. All right. I'm going to be reasonable here. Because I did say like a bunch, like, oh my God, does he even like you? Leave him. Blah, blah, you want a divorce. Yeah. And that might be so. Could be. But I also see the path of like, she was pissed that she was like, you refuse to take other time. And it's funny because my father owns a business. And during that season, that man is booked and busy. I mean, you gotta plan around. Like, he's not gonna come. It's his busy season, and he's busy. Like, you better damn near be getting married or on your deathbed for him to come to something. And it is what it is. But I get it. I do. So I think that's why I'm giving this like a second thought, because I think maybe she wrote this post when she was heated and in like the heat of the moment when he said no, and she's like, what the fuck? Like, you're going to go on you have this one block of spare time a year and you're spending it with your friend and I'm not invited and you don't want to go on a vacation with me. Like now, yeah, like now I'm questioning. So I understand. But it turns out like he needed to be reminded of these things. I don't know. That is still weird. Doesn't fully explain it away for me because, ew, my man would never. Like, absolutely not. But they are a little older than like us. Yeah. So she's 41. He's 38. Well, now. No, I'm sorry. She's 44. He's 40. You're together for something. Listen, I take back a little bit. This could have just been one of those situations. She wrote it a certain way and it came off a certain way because she did really try to clear him up in the update. She made it very clear that he's a good husband. He does his part. He holds his weight around the house. He's not some, and she doesn't take a paycheck by her own choice, which I understand. Like, if my fiance, soon to be husband, had a business, I wouldn't want a paycheck. I would just do it. That's my job. What's good for the goose is good for the gander, So, I don't know. Interesting. Let's move on. Ooh, another 3-year update. Sweet spot. An update 3 years later. I'm moving out tomorrow. Husband doesn't know I found out that he's having an affair. Latest update is the original post. I'm like, wait a second. The math ain't mathing. But the original post was August 31st, 2022. Title, I'm moving out tomorrow. Husband doesn't know I found out that he's having an affair. When I found out about the affair, it devastated me. I'll be gone tomorrow when he gets home from work and he has no idea. It's a smart way to do it. Update October 1st, 2025, over 3 years later. My update is not exciting, but I, female 39, did receive some supportive comments, so I wanted to post one more time. Truthfully, I forgot about my first post until I tried to make it account for something else and got a message that my email address was already used for another account. My update is that I'm now divorced. It has been a month since my divorce became final. Wow. So almost 3 years to finalize a divorce. I moved out while my ex-husband, male 39, was at work the day after I wrote my first post. In my country, you have to be separated for 1 year before you can get a divorce. Then my ex-husband dragged the process out for 2 years because he didn't want a divorce, even though he was the one having an affair with a colleague. I moved out because my ex-husband inherited our home before we met, so I wouldn't have had any right to it in the divorce. I had to leave. I haven't seen or talked with my ex-husband since I moved out, and I don't plan to ever again. During the divorce process, my solicitor communicated with his, even though my ex-husband wanted to see me and explain. I didn't care to confront him about the affair, get any details, or hear whatever explanation he was going to give. Divorce is only no fault, so the affair made no difference during the divorce process anyways. Yeah, kick rocks. We have been married for 10 years when I left, but he broke my heart and I don't need to see or talk to him again. I have a life without him. That's my update. As boring as it was, if you left a supportive comment, thank you for doing that. Wow. In reading this, she just breezed over this whole thing. Like, very nonchalant. I mean, I get it. It's just like a Reddit post, but she's like, yeah, we were married for 10 years. He broke my heart. I don't need to see or talk to him again. And I moved on. There's my update. Trying to see if there's any comments worth reading, but I'm going to say no. But I hope she's, she's living her best life now. She's happy. Moving on. Okay. Next. This is, am I the subreddit? Am I the if I disrupt foster siblings adoption with my parents? My 15 female parents have 2 foster kids siblings that are 10 female and 6 male living with us for over 2 years in an extended placement. My parents won't tell me their background, but I think it has to do with neglect. Although I tried to like living with them, I really don't because they're disruptive and attention seeking, especially the 10-year-old female. I've gotten along decently well with previous placements. I even begged my mom to adopt this boy we had placed, but he's gone back to his mom. I'm especially annoyed to the point of hating 10-year-old female because she's loud and has 0 sense of personal space and keeps barging in anytime I try to talk to my parents alone, especially my mom, and keeps screaming in my face, "My mommy." All of which are probably normal for a 7-year-old, but 10, I don't know. And I know she has her trauma issues and all of that, but I feel like my mom does enable it too much, but I put up with it because at first my mom said it's only temporary, but now I think their reunification isn't happening anymore. So my parents want to adopt them, but I really don't want them to, and I don't see them as a sibling. When we meet with their caseworker to proceed with the adoption, my mom said they'll ask me if I'm willing to be their sibling. And am I the asshole if I say no? I've tried multiple times, but it's either the 10-year-old female immediately throwing a fit at the slightest hint I'm upset with her, or it's my mom with her usual, think of what we can give her. She needs stability. She's too attached. I don't know. Something's rubbing me way the wrong. If you just wanted to foster and save children, you could have did that. But you had your own kid and you brought your own child into this world, and now you're kind of displacing them in their own life and in their own home. I don't love that. Especially you're bringing a 10-year-old and a 6-year-old in. He's 15. That's a rough dynamic. It's rough enough when it's a 15-year-old and a 10-year-old and they're biologically siblings. Like they grew up together and they're biologically siblings, bringing in essentially a strange child. That's not going to be easy. And you definitely need to get the approval of your bio kid that lives with you and that's his home and you're his parent and safe space and mother. This is weird. There's an edit on this post. It says edit. I've made an update post and I'm waiting for its review by mods. So until then, quit accusing me of deleting the update because of backlash. And also quit sending death threats to a 15-year-old. I really, don't do that. Let's see if the update is posted. Yeah. See the update. I don't see the update, but you're not the good. Not the keep a notebook and record incidents. Try to be factual versus emotional. Date, time, what the child did, what your parent did. Do this for a few weeks, then really consider and edit out minor issues. Then tell your parents you need an hour of their undivided attention. Discuss these incidents. Tell them how your daily/weekly routine is affected. Ask them for the 3 of you to develop a plan. You are not the least important person in your family. Yeah, that's like the saddest thing about this. You are not the least important person in your family. It's a very powerful statement because just because your mother decides now or your parents decide that they want to adopt children doesn't mean that you no longer exist. You should still be their top priority. So why you're not is very sad and concerning. This seems like something they're doing. Maybe it's a stroke of the ego. I don't know. There's probably some weird psychological shit buried deep in there. I'm not qualified to discuss that. However, I'm sure there's something going on mentally because that's crazy. But you definitely need to document. I do agree with that. I thought that was going to go different. But anyway, moving on. This is, I don't know. Let's see. I'm sure this is silly. Never, I'm not reading that. Am I the for asking my friend to pay for my wedding dress? Probably. I got married a few years ago. My friend, let's call her Jen, is a professional tailor. When we told her about the engagement, she generously offered that as a wedding present, she would do this pro bono alterations for not only my wedding dress, but my wife's as well. Okay, so this is a lesbian couple, just for clarification. My wedding was scheduled for October 15th. My then fiance and I separately went dress shopping in January. My fiance's dress was scheduled to arrive in June and mine would come in late July. I checked with Jen to see if that time frame would work for her. She said yes. We started fittings in early August. She would try on the dress here and there, and then we'd meet back up for refittings and adjustments throughout August and September. Then it was October and we were cutting things close, no pun intended. On the 5th, 10 day on the 5th, 10 days left before the wedding, Jen said that she wasn't going to be able to finish the alterations before the wedding after all. She still had several steps left to do and she was about to go out of town. She was super apologetic, recommended another tailor, and offered to pay for the remaining alterations. That's very generous, I'd say. I mean, she's doing the right thing at the very least. Maybe not generous, but she's trying to do the right thing for her shortcomings, like, and make up for her shortcomings. She also gave me a detailed explanation about what still needed to be done so I could tell the tailor. Jen estimated that it would probably cost between $100 to $200. For a rush job that ended up being a lot of finishing touches, the cost was $700. I have no idea if the second tailor ripped me off or not, or if Jen just underestimated what was left to do, but I wasn't about to start haggling right before my wedding. Jen had already offered to cover the expense, but since she hadn't planned on $700, I offered to split the cost halfway with her instead. She was shocked at the price tag, but agreed to pay half. Okay. It was an extremely small backyard wedding, immediate family only, so Jen had always known she wasn't attending. I did send her photos of my wife and I in our dresses and made sure to thank her for all of her hard work. There has never been a confrontation per se between Jen and myself, but we abruptly went from seeing each other fairly frequently to not seeing each other at all or even really texting. She and her husband host get-togethers from time to time, and I stopped getting invites. I've had a couple of people in my life suggest that I should have turned down her offer to pay for the remaining alterations to begin with. And once I found out the price, I definitely shouldn't have followed up on her paying for any of it, let alone half. Am I the asshole? It's interesting. It's not something that I would do. I would never ask somebody to pay for anything, especially regarding my wedding. So while it's not something I would ever consider or think to do, it just wouldn't happen. I don't think some people are like this, and I don't think that she went about it in a way. I don't think it qualifies as like the way I've read a lot of other posts that don't qualify as it, and they most certainly were. So I'm very okay. Let's see. Okay, there's two edits. Edit because it's been asked. Jen knew from the beginning that she wasn't invited to the wedding. It was in my parents' small inner city backyard, and my wife and I agreed in the planning stage that we couldn't make any exceptions to the immediate family only rule, or the guest list would keep creeping upward. I fully understand that, and I think that as long as you stick with it's only strictly immediate family, you're fine. You don't need to invite. You do you. You do you. It's your wedding. They're very expensive. You do you. But I don't know. Okay, edit 2. Thank you for letting me know I'm the I know that's going to sound sarcastic, but I'm autistic, which is probably part of the problem. There are clearly a lot of social expectations I wasn't aware of, but intention versus impact. And regardless, I took advantage of Jen's offer. I'm going to send her the money back and apologize. Probably too late to repair this friendship, but I feel that's the least I can do. I don't think this person's the other okay, wait, let me back up. She generously offered okay, I get it now. People are saying she's the because she accepted a wedding present when she knew she wasn't inviting this person. Yeah. All right. But on the flip side of that, the person offering the services probably wasn't offering the free services, the very free alterations on 2 wedding dresses. I will keep that in mind. They weren't offering those services as like, "Hey, let me get a ticket to the wedding." Right? Let me get in. It didn't strike me as that. I wouldn't see, this is where I'm not good. She's not too much of an for me, and she's not an but, yeah, no, I would never accept a gift from somebody knowing I was not inviting them to the wedding, that's first and foremost. Secondly, which the gift was tailoring these dresses. She didn't ask her to do it, though. She specifically says, when we told her about the engagement, she generously offered that as a wedding present, she would do pro bono alter See, but as a wedding present, Jen probably thought she was gonna get an invite. So, this is where assumptions, you shouldn't go assuming things. But yeah, I don't know. This is a rough one. I'm not gonna make a final verdict. Do I have to? Is that a rule? If I have to, I'm gonna have to say, like, yeah, I guess I get the part, because you shouldn't no, she's really not the asshole, because if somebody said, "Hey, I have a gift for you," I guess she is, yeah. Because if it was like a birthday party or like an engagement celebrate any type of celebration that you're hosting a party for, someone pre-offers you a gift, but you know you're not inviting them to that party, you shouldn't accept the gift. I mean, obviously you shouldn't accept the gift, but yeah, I guess that does make her a little bit of an asshole. It's tough. This one's tough. But you've heard my piece like 4 times, so I'm not gonna keep going. Let's see. So what other people say, you shouldn't have accepted a big gift like that from someone you weren't even inviting to the wedding. She did do a solid and did a bunch of work in tailoring. It would have cost a lot to get it done by someone else. She saved you money and did it by doing the work herself, but you had the gall to ask her to pay for Oh, wait, I'm not gonna cut this out because quite honestly, I've spent a lot of time on this story and I need to move on. But I forgot. She also asked her to pay for half of yeah. Okay, she's the final verdict. She is the asshole because she knew Jen wasn't attending. Jen offered this gift. Jen fell short. Wow. Did I even read this story with you? Jen fell short on the But see, also, you know what? Everyone's an ass because Jen shouldn't have offered something that she couldn't fulfill. Something tells me she might have knew she couldn't fulfill it because it doesn't sound like she got that far and she just copped out like, hey, you know what? Here's some money. I can't do this. You're rolling. Cancel the wedding. Oh, no, I'm not getting into that thread. Okay. This is the No Stupid Questions subreddit. Let's see. I'm sure that there's a stupid question in here. I told my why am I reading this? Is bringing 3 swimsuits on my 10-day trip gross? Are there washers and dryers? I told a washer and a clothesline, a washer and a string. I told my coworker I'm only bringing 3 swimsuits on my 10-day trip, and she said I'm gross because it's the same thing as only bringing 3 underwear. So I need to bring a swimsuit for each day. Is it gross to only bring 3 swimsuits? Okay, I don't think it's the same as underwear completely. You don't bring a bathing suit for every day though. That's excessive. When you're wearing a bathing suit, you're usually in salt water, which is like a really high saline content in the water, which does some things, or you're in like a chlorine pool, which is like essentially bleach, like there's chemicals in there, enough chemicals. So no, I don't think most people even own 10 swimsuits. Like if you don't live in a year-round warm weather place, I seriously doubt you own 10 swimsuits. I would love to take a poll and see who owns 10 swimsuits. And if you live in the Northeast, how many swimsuits do you own? And is it 10 or above? Because I highly, highly doubt it. You can all, yeah, if you can't wash and whatever, like it's different. Let's say someone goes, I was gonna say, I don't think I've owned more than 2 swimsuits at any point in my life. I am the proud owner of 2 because I forgot to pack them once and had to buy a new pair of trunks on location. Okay, that's a dude. I think I have 4, but I definitely have a favorite and I would never take more than 2 on a trip. Yeah, I mean, I definitely have a bunch, but I have a pool. So, and I didn't have a bunch prior to having a pool. Yeah, there you go. Okay, let's do this. Am I the for not wanting my girlfriend to have a free holiday with her ex? So, okay, the original post was May 18th, 2025. So I've been dating my current girlfriend for about 9 months or so. Her ex-boyfriend that she broke up with about 6 months before we started dating has recently started talking to her again. I don't feel part I guess they meant particularly comfortable about this, as I believe he wants to get back with her. But they've only seen each other a few times in a group setting, so I haven't seen it as a big deal up until this point. Earlier today, she approached me, saying that she needed to talk to me. She explained that her ex-boyfriend was offering a holiday with her to apologize for treating her badly in the past. He's offering to pay for the plane ticket, hotels, everything. I talked with her and she agrees that he thinks he is trying to start something between them again, but they will stay in separate rooms and a free holiday is an extremely good offer she doesn't want to turn down. I feel extremely mixed about this. I understand wanting to go, but it makes me extremely uncomfortable and upset, as well as feeling disrespected. I am even contemplating ending things, as it would make things easier for the both of us. What do I do? This makes me think of like a free buffet. Sometimes, like, it sounds really good, but is it? Is it though? This is crazy. These are the types of stories that make me wonder where people come from. Because why do you have a boy? Can you imagine saying to your partner, like, yeah, listen, my ex has taken me on vacation. I just gotta go. I need a vacation and it's free. And I just need you to be okay with that. That is not, and I understand a lot of these stories. I don't know what's on my Reddit today that I am very UK based, it seems. What's going on across the pond? Because like I know us Americans are a little loopy. We're definitely wacky. And I think we're definitely more like proud, maybe egotistical. I just think we're probably more obnoxious I don't know. This is my perspective from the States. But that's weird. There's something weird about that. If we're dating and together for 9 months and you want to go on a vacation with your ex because you can't pass up a freebie? No, no. You are not the, let's see. Not the asshole. Not the Tell him you're paying your own way to come on the trip with her. We'll see how quickly he changes his tune. She told me, I know what he thinks, but I'd make sure that kind of thing would never happen and would never stay in the same room, etc. This doesn't particularly reassure me, though, is what OP says. As someone who was in OP's girlfriend's shoes a few years ago, and my boyfriend broke up with me shortly after, there are plenty of naive/dumb people out there, and at least for me, I didn't realize how shitty I was until after. It's a learning experience, and when you're young, you might not realize what you're actually doing/saying after the fact. Okay, so I guess they're trying to say that maybe OP's girlfriend, who is making this insane request, doesn't know any better. We have no ages. That does change things a little bit, I guess, if it's like some 19-year-old who just like wants to go on a vacay and drink legally on an island somewhere. I mean, I get it. She just wants to go have her fun. So and also get a little bit of her justice back, you know? I'm not convinced that someone who would even slightly entertain this idea is very trustworthy. Yeah, that's where my head was at before I didn't consider we don't know their ages. I think I'm looking at this from, like, a 30-year-old perspective, and I'm old now. 30 years old is old in 2026. Like, mentally. It's also like this trip isn't completely free. She'd have to spend time in this creep's company. Even if they're not sharing a room, they're going to be sharing everything else. I don't know about you guys, but going on a trip with my partner feels more like a chore than going on a trip without my partner feels more like a chore than a prize. Seeing and experiencing new things are only fun because I enjoy the company, and that is true. I would never go on a vacation. I can't think of one scenario other than like a girls trip that I would be more open to. That would be different. There would be no friggin' way that I would even go spend an overnight. Like, for what? If my girlfriend brought up wanting to go on a free vacation with her ex because he wanted to apologize for past behavior while they were not sharing a hotel room and she actually wanted to go, it would probably kill my feelings for her instantly. So I'd have to tell her, you should probably go and see if you have a future with him because you don't have one here anymore. Mic drop. Because that's the comment. Because I agree. I agree. Yeah, we need the age. Someone goes, I hear you, but that's why it's super important to have the age in the post so we could balance between naivety and more complicated scenarios. And I agree. I feel like these are like, this is a young person. Like, OP is young. And this is a very young relationship. Like, everything about this screams we're young and dumb and trying things and we just want to have fun, kind of. Am I the original post was April 18th, 2025. Am I the asshole for leaving my boyfriend's birthday dinner after his mom took my seat as a joke? I, 25 female, have been dating my boyfriend Matt, 27 male, for almost 2 years. His family is very close, and his mom in particular has always been a little possessive. I've tried not to make it a big deal, but it's clear she doesn't like that I take up his time. And she's made passive aggressive comments like, I hope I don't lose my son to some girl. Even though we've been together for a while and I've made every effort to be kind and respectful to her. Anyway, last weekend was Matt's birthday. He invited me to dinner with his family at a nice restaurant. I dressed up, got him a gift I knew he'd love, and honestly was looking forward to the night. When we arrived, I noticed his mom had saved the seat right next to him for herself. That's fine, whatever. I sat on his other side. But right before we ordered, his mom made a joke, about how I always need to be next to Matt and said, let's see how you handle a little separation. Then she literally stood up, looked at me, and said, Scooch, sweetie, motioning for me to move down a seat so she could sit between us. Everyone at the table laughed, Matt included. That's me waving my red flag. I was so stunned, I quietly got up and moved. For about 5 minutes, I sat there feeling small and humiliated while she leaned over Matt like he was her date. So I stood up, grabbed my bag, and said, actually, I think I'm gonna head out. Hope you have a great birthday, Matt, and left. Thank God. Thank God that was the only appropriate thing to do in this situation, truly. And I know it doesn't feel, it feels like it's not appropriate. Like you probably felt terrible leaving in that moment. Anyway, Matt just blew up my phone later saying I completely overreacted, embarrassed him in front of his family, and I can't take a joke. His mom texted me a sorry you were so sensitive message, which just made it worse. Now he's not speaking to me until I apologize. I honestly feel like they were the rude ones, but it was his birthday dinner, so now I'm second guessing everything. Am I the asshole? No, you are not the asshole. Don't you dare apologize. And matter of fact, break up with him. I need a gavel. Not only is he someone you want to run from, his family. You are going to be stuck with that family. You don't want to be stuck with this friggin' lady. So someone comments, Sorry you were so sensitive says it all, at least to me. She didn't acknowledge doing anything wrong. It's too bad that your boyfriend isn't looking out for you in this. OP says, yeah, it's actually crazy. He still hasn't spoken to me and it's been like 2 days. So I'm just gonna drop his things off at his house, and that's the end of this relationship. Well, thank God. Yeah, there's been a history of her doing petty stuff like this, OP says. Update from the next day. I dropped his stuff off and he tried to have a talk with me, and he was basically saying like, "Oh, his mom didn't mean any harm with the joke," and telling me to chill out and that I'm being dramatic. I told him to go date his mom since she's perfect and y'all understand each other's humor. Yeah, no. Okay, if she's so funny, then date someone else who finds her funny, because I don't. And also, I have to say, how old are they? Oh, 25. He's 27 years old. He's gotta see the writing on the wall here, because I was gonna say, oh, he's probably young and, like, doesn't realize that his mother is gonna ruin every relationship that he has in his entire life. But he's 27 years old. Ew, these comments. They're very accurate, but also just the way that his mom will ruin every last relationship he gets, someone writes, until he gets to the age where she's like, "What? Where are my grandbabies?" and can't understand why no women want her perfect angel. Yeah, this definitely is like a weird dynamic that is common. Yeah, run. Just get out of this. Get out of here. You don't want to be here. It's not good. Well, wraps it up for tonight. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe and do all that happy horse shit. All right. I'm here. New episode drops probably tomorrow too, because I'm just going to keep recording until I get this thing off the ground a little bit more. So thanks for sticking with me, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.